Morning everyone. Today's live tutorial is going to be a squat series. So I'm going to go over the air squat, the front squat, and the overhead squat, trying to make sure you guys can cover all of the execution, points of performance, and setup positions. So let's get started. Hopefully you guys can see every angle of this for today. We're starting off with air squat. So for the air squat, this is the most foundational movement. You're going to start off with your feet underneath your shoulders. You want to have your toes turned out slightly. From the setup position from the side, I'm fully extended, shoulders, hips, ankles, all stacked on top of one another. As I go to execute this movement, I'm gonna push my butt straight down, push my knees to track over the toes. I'm gonna get my hip crease below top of the thigh, arms out in front of me to allow myself to have an upright torso, and then I'm going to stand. When I get this full range of motion, that's gonna promote joint flexibility, but also I'm gonna use more musculature of my body. So this is a full range of motion, hip crease below top of the thigh as I stand. So points of performance are feet underneath the shoulders, knees track over the toes, hip crease below top of the thigh, and standing nice and tall. From the air squat, you can layer on as a more challenging movement to the front squat. This is gonna require a little bit more core and upper body flexibility. Core work and upper flexibility. For the front squat, the points of performance are gonna stay the same in terms of your setup position. The execution is gonna be still the same in terms of pushing your butt straight down, but we now have this bar on our shoulders. So for the front squat, the bar is rotated up onto our shoulders. We're resting the bar on the shoulders versus the wrists and elbows, which are smaller joints. So hands are right side outside my shoulders, loose fingertip grip. I'm still set up, feet underneath my shoulders. As I go to execute, big breath. I'm gonna push again, my hips straight down, knee track over my toes, and keep my arms nice and elevated. Think of your triceps staying parallel to the floor. So as I go down into that bottom range of motion, my triceps are still parallel. This is going to increase the range of motion from your tricep and lat. If we're at a 90-degree angle here, as I go to squat, that angle is going to increase because my torso, butt goes down and back, torso will go back slightly, so I'm increasing that range of motion. From that front squat, we can make it more challenging and allow ourselves to elevate the object by going overhead with the bar to an overhead squat. For the overhead squat, we're just allowing that bar to come up overhead and allowing ourselves to work a little bit harder with our core to brace our midline. So PVC pipe, I do a shoulder dislocate to find my pass-through position. So think of arms nice and straight or arms nice and long, extended. Bar is overhead. Think of directly stacked over the base of the neck. Again, it's gonna be hard to see in this angle here. But again, same points of performance with our setup position. As I go down, I'm pressing up into the bar. I'm now elongating my height of my body or making myself taller, so I now have to require more core strength and core work to keep my body nice and tight. So from the front position, points of performance still the same, butt goes straight down. I wanna fight to keep that bar stacked overhead. As I go into that bottom of the squat, that bar again is stacked over the neck and shoulders. I wanna make sure you're not pulling forward or going back. Again, once you have the PVC pipe or barbell overhead, you're now making your body longer. So it's gonna be a little more challenging. It will require more core work, but it's gonna be very important to allow yourself to understand kinesthetic awareness and where your body is in space. So if you're learning to squat, you always start with the air squat. If you don't feel comfortable squatting yourself, you can always grab a bench or box and you can sit to that bench or box. I push my butt down, hit that bench or box, and then stand up. That is a good way to aggress the movement. Regression is great if you're coming back from an injury or you're learning to get back into the fitness world. So again, air squat is the first, most foundational movement. Think of when you sit to a chair, you sit to the toilet. Anytime you get up out of a chair, up out of the toilet. So air squat, then from there, front squat, and then the overhead squat. The points of performance, feet underneath the shoulders, toes turned out slightly, knees tracking over the toes. And the reason I say knees tracking over the toes is that's gonna create a little bit of external rotation in the hip and joint. So as I go down, I'm pushing the knees out. Knees will track over the toes. It's gonna create enough space at the bottom of my squat to get my hips down. And that is also why I say feet underneath the shoulders. If your feet are underneath the hips, it's more of a narrow stance. In this narrow stance position, I can still squat, but what's gonna happen is my butt's gonna have to go back more and my torso is gonna go forward more. Again, this is a guide to start with, right? So air squat. Then you go to the front squat. That barbell is going to be on that front position. It's gonna require more core strength to keep that torso upright. If you don't have a barbell, you could always use a dumbbell for the squats. Then from there, the overhead squat. Start with a PVC pipe, eventually barbell. Then from there, you can do a dumbbell, 2 dumbbells, 1 dumbbell. That is very challenging, so I recommend starting with a PVC pipe or barbell. Again, this was a squat series to talk about the setup position, the execution, and points of performance. Again, as you layer on more elements in terms of the front squat and overhead squat, you will require more core work. If you guys love this squat series and you want more educational content like this, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to share this video as well and let me know what you want to see more of. I'm going to be sharing more educational content, more coaching aspects, not so much just mobility and exercises. So feel free to drop a comment and let what you'd like to see more of. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.